3 News Now this week.
A Nebraska senator called Wednesday's chaos inside and outside the Capitol ugly, but said he hopes the next generation will know it's an exception and not the rule in the U.S.
Because our kids need to know that this isn't what America is. What happened today isn't what America is.
Sass said stopping the violence Wednesday made sure the world could see that might makes right is not how the U.S. government runs. He went on to call the U.S. Constitution the greatest political document ever written. Still, Sass says the country needs to reject violence to fulfill its potential.
You can't do big things like that if you hate your neighbors. You can't do big things together as Americans if you think other Americans are the enemy.
In a statement earlier in the day, Sass called the violence an inevitable outcome of, quote, the president's addiction to constantly stoking division. Area politicians released statements condemning yesterday's violence, but some found themselves nearly caught up in that violence. 3 News Now reporter Danielle Davis brings us more on just how close to home it hit for them. Danny.
Jen, all Nebraska and Iowa congressional leaders reported that they and their staff are okay after the violence. Nebraska Congressman Jeff Fortenberry says he could see people being moved to the stairs of the Capitol as things heated up. He says he watched the situation grow even more dangerous from his office inside the Capitol building. He called the experience surreal and accused those who broke inside the Capitol of trying to undermine the country's democratic principles.
Turning this into violent protest and are taking over public buildings and creating dangerous situations are undermining our democracy, undermining their very right. This is reckless and wrong. So good people need to get away from here to give the police a chance to secure it from those fools who are causing such a threatening environment.
Fortenberry and 2nd District Congressman Don Bacon both voted against the effort to reject the electoral vote. Bacon says he watched the protesters storm the chambers from another room. He and his staff retreated to his office. In a Zoom interview, he called the violence an embarrassment to the country and called on the president to do more to help.
He needs to be a leader, not a populist. And he needs to make clear that it's all right to peacefully protest, but what happened today was wrong. But I also think part of leadership as a president is acknowledging that the courts have gone through their full course and that this election's been decided.
Bacon condemned the actions of those who broke into the Capitol, calling it reprehensible. He also thanked Capitol Police for their actions to keep lawmakers safe. Congressman Fortenberry says Nebraska's other representative, Adrian Smith, spent much of the afternoon stuck in the basement because he was not in his office when the protesters stormed the House chambers. In Omaha, Danielle Davis, 3 News Now this morning.
Last week, we gave you a sneak peek at Omaha's first selfie museum, and now it's open. Today, the selfie spot officially opened its doors to the public. Owner Asia Anderson says the response from the community has been fantastic. A lot of people have shown interest in the interactive museum on social media, and a few even stopped by today to check out the various sets.
So right now we have 9 rooms with about 25 different sets. Those will rotate quarterly, so every quarter you might see something different in here. So just because you came in here once doesn't mean that the next visit won't be different, because it'll always be different.
You can reserve your spot online at selfiespotomaha.com, and the Selfie Spot also has tickets set aside for walk-ins.
The IRS sends the payment to the bank account provided on the most recent tax return.
You know, we're going to basically take information like we're going to say you're going to look at your 2019 tax return, and most of the information that's on that is going to have basically where you had your refund deposited.
But some are seeing their check in a different bank account than where the last stimulus was sent. If you notice that your check is in an unfamiliar account, it may be that of your tax preparer.
Let's say you do your taxes and you have the option of either having your refund pay for your tax preparation. So if you have those fees taken out at that time, there's a bank in Santa Barbara that H&R Block uses. And so that bank will facilitate the stimulus refund now.
H&R Block says they understand the importance of the stimulus checks. In a statement to 3 News Now, H&R Block said they immediately deposited millions of stimulus payments into customers' accounts and onto their Emerald prepaid MasterCard. Direct deposits are being processed. If you are eligible and have yet to see your direct deposit, a check or debit card may be coming by mail. Be careful not to mistake it for a credit card solicitation.
One of my concerns is I know like the debit card that comes out, if you look at the envelope, it's just one of those things that could easily be shred.
For those of you who received direct deposit, your account may have said the check was pending for a few days. Monday, January 4th was the official payment date, so it should be available to you now.
A $600 stimulus check from the federal government. Should people spend and support their local businesses, or should people save and invest it?
When talking to Omaha residents about how they plan on using their stimulus checks, they gave a variety of answers.
We're planning on either getting a new place or getting just a bunch of gifts for my kids or schooling.
It's good to have, but we don't know exactly what bills and stuff to pay off yet.
Rent just seems like something that's important, and so it's a big, expense each month, and it feels good to have it paid off ahead of time.
Dave Weiss, the senior vice president of business banking at TS Bank, says he hopes the stimulus checks encourage people to go out and spend. But there are also other ways to build on the boost.
If you have high interest credit cards, the best thing that you can do with that is to pay down those debts. The other thing would be if you don't have a rainy day fund, I would suggest that you build that up. If you're in a position to invest it, that's certainly a great option as well.
Wise says Americans are eager for this financial support.
We saw tremendous volume on internet banking on Friday when most of the stimulus checks started to hit. Our internet banking in our core system was actually down because of the amount of people that had attempted to log on to see if they had gotten their stimulus funds.
People like Cindy Gerst Brigham, who says she could use all the help she can get.
Any extra boost helps right now. I wished it was more.
Reporting in Omaha, Isabella Basco, 3 News Now.
And new tonight, we're learning more about the death of an Omaha realtor and what investigators say happened inside the rental home the night he died. According to a police affidavit, Douglas County Sheriff's officers entered the home near 192nd and W Street after receiving the garage code from Michael Sodoro's son. They found Sodoro's body inside a crawl space covered by loose carpet remnants. He died from a single gunshot wound to the head. Now inside the home, officers found blood on the carpet, on the stair railing, and on a bathroom tub. A witness reported seeing a black Ford Edge in the driveway and provided a partial plate. Officers tied that vehicle back to Ross Lorello, and during a search found a handgun in the trunk with one fired casing inside. They also found fingerprints at the scene and blood that matches Lorello. Ross Lorello is currently in the Douglas County Jail on a first-degree murder charge.